to tackle one of the biggest challenges that we were seeing in the world, which is billions of individuals lacked access to safe, affordable financial services. And what we found was that technology was really reimagining the financial services landscape. And the key question was, how could we harness that incredible opportunity to tackle this challenge around the financial health gap that we were seeing in emerging markets?
In 2015, we recognized two major challenges faced by early-stage inclusive fintech entrepreneurs in emerging markets. The first one was access to capital, especially at the early stage of their journeys, and the second was access to talent and the resources they needed to reach scale. And at the same time, we were also hearing from investors they lacked access to an investor-ready pipeline of companies. So Catalyst Fund was born as an experiment. Can philanthropic grant capital, combined with bespoke, expert-led support, be the answer to helping these companies bridge the valley of death and reach more underserved users?
The first year at Catalyst was intense and a little bit messy as we had to put in place and start a number of new processes. But it was also very rewarding because already in the first year, I think it became apparent that the sort of support we were giving to the startups was very valuable to them. So we felt we were partners with them in their journeys and we were actually helping them go further.
We kicked off the first cohort in 2016 and worked very closely with the founders to make sure that our venture building support was really addressing their most pressing challenges. From data analytics to build dashboards, for example, so that companies can track their metrics, to reconfiguring machine learning algorithms, to redesigning the UX of apps, to doing user research to improve the value propositions and running product experiments. We really cover all the bases to make sure the entrepreneurs are successful.
The beauty of Catalyst Fund as a program is that we provide a very hands-on and bespoke venture building support. We actually work with the startup. We become part of their teams, we become extensions of their teams, and we provide very tailored venture building. Once we meet the startup, we understand their business model better. We understand their operations and the traction they got so far. We discuss what can we bring to the table.
Over the past 5 years, we tested and iterated our model to improve our venture building methodology and become the best growth partner for inclusive tech startups across emerging markets. The startups keep growing and have now raised over 120 million and reach over 5 million customers. We've come a long way. In January 2020, we announced the expansion of Catalyst Fund with a 15 million investment from JP Morgan and the UK government. We had learned that accelerating startups alone is not enough. In order for them to succeed, the environment in which they operate also needs to be conducive to their growth. So today, our Inclusive FinTech Accelerator is focused on 5 markets: Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Mexico, and India. And we are committed to accelerating the wider ecosystem in each of those markets and sharing our knowledge with the industry. We do so by building a circle of investors to unlock more capital at the earlier stage, a circle of corporate innovators to connect with our companies and help create pathways to scale, and by creating connections with local universities and talent networks that can fill the young talent gap at tech startups.
My name's Catherine White. I am the FinTech Policy Lead at the UK's Department for International Development, and we are one of the co-funders of the Catalyst Fund. DIF has been involved in developing inclusive financial sectors for a number of years now, but increasingly in recent years we've been looking to FinTech. So we set up the UK Africa FinTech Investment Group last year following Theresa May's visit to Africa, and we, as part of that, brought together people from the FinTech ecosystem in the UK and in Africa to really challenge DFID to think about what we want to do to support early stage fintechs to scale their companies. And that's where we were introduced to the Catalyst Fund.
So we source and select companies through investors because we believe that building that intimacy between investors and startups early on is extremely important. And we want to rely on investors that do this as their day job to give a stamp of approval in the companies that participate in the program. Our Investor Advisory Committee is composed of the world's leading emerging markets and fintech investors, including Flourish Ventures, Grey Ghost Ventures, Better Tomorrow Ventures, Kona Capital, Axion Venture Lab, and Anthemis.
So the real attraction to join the Investor Advisory Committee was to learn through osmosis with the other investors, the Konas and Axions of the world, who can help us understand the regional context a little bit better.
I think Catalyst has been really at the forefront of bringing these companies to funds like mine in Silicon Valley. We've had a lot of success investing in these kinds of companies, and I think now, sort of 5 years after the founding of Catalyst Fund, a lot more Silicon Valley firms are looking at these companies, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of impact created from this fund. We've had a lot of success already partnering with Catalyst Fund for the past several years and have invested in several Catalyst Fund companies and expect to do more of that in the future.
In addition to the Investment Advisory Committee, our circle of investors now reaches over 70 global and local emerging market and fintech investors who receive a direct connection to our de-risk pipeline of companies.
There is a long commitment of the Catalyst Fund to supporting very impressive startups. So we're proud to be part of the cohorts, knowing the selection process and the peers are quite high quality startups. And there is a real expertise you can see in the BFA team in terms of their backgrounds, and therefore really directly add value.
At Catalyst Fund, our mandate is not just to accelerate fintech startups, but also to make sure that everything that we're learning, all the tools and methodologies that we're creating, get shared with the broader ecosystem so that other startups, other accelerator programs, even donors and investors can use them in their work. What we learn from our work with startups is wide-ranging. It can be anything from innovative new ways to approach financial education to how to form B2B partnerships.
Now, as the finance industry evolves and financial solutions become more and more embedded in other tech-enabled sectors to enhance value propositions for customers, to improve unit economics, we too are expanding our work to other areas. From digital commerce to health to education, we see an opportunity to leverage our approach and fintech expertise to catalyze innovation in other social sectors and continue to improve the lives of underserved communities and small businesses. In October 2020, for example, we welcomed the Mastercard Foundation and launched our Inclusive Digital Commerce program in Ghana, which focuses on supporting digital commerce companies that can improve the livelihood of micro and small businesses, and fintech is a big part of that.
Embedded finance is really the theme that we're most excited about, turning financial services from a horizontal into a vertical, or vice versa, and becoming more embedded into everyone's day-to-day experiences.
I think over the next 5 years, I'm excited for funds like Catalyst and others to sort of move this notion of inclusive fintech being something that is done for impact and charity only to being something that a lot of us mainstream VCs look at. Over the next 5 years, these are the growth stories for venture are going to be in these markets, and we're going to see lots of unicorns, and I think Catalyst Fund will be there supporting a lot of entrepreneurs that build great companies.